One thing I hear often from people is that money is the root of all evil, which is entirely untrue. The root of all evil is stupidity, folks. The root of all evil is stupidity. The root of all evil is knowing better, but not acting on it. Doing the wrong thing. I hate to tell all you hippie-hazed people, but money is just a resource. That's all it is. And even if we didn't have pieces of paper that had value to them in the form of like dollar bills, we as human beings, like we have throughout all of history, would find some other method of currency. So don't try to tell me that money is some new invention or this, that, and the other. No. We've always placed value on certain things. And that's just the way it is. Money is not the root of all evil. Unevolved thinking is the root of all evil. Choosing to do the wrong thing when you can do the right thing is the root of all evil. If you think about it, every single evil act, for the most part, was an act that could have been acted out differently. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm going with this? So I'm just tired of people like putting all the blame on human stupidity. They blame it on money or something other than, the actual human consciousness. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we have consciousness-related malleability. And what I mean by that is we don't have to, do the wrong thing. We don't have to stay locked in an engagement that's non-beneficial. I mean, the level of, and I don't want to sound rude by saying this, but the level of stupidity in human beings here in 2021 is monumental. And I don't need to hear any love and light style garbage nonsense. You just got to accept everybody for who they are, man. This is all about acceptance. No. Because if we keep accepting the way things are, things in 5 years are going to be monumentally disturbing. The debauchery that's being funneled into our dimension right now and being integrated into our consciousness is disgusting. Here's the thing, you guys. In the mid-90s, what used to take 5 years, for instance, in the mid-90s, now takes like a day. And what I mean by that is we didn't have all these technologies. We didn't have all the smartphones and the gadgetry and the devices that we do now. Now, with the internet and the sheer amount of information available at our fingertips at any given point in time, 24 hours a day, 365, we are accelerating the old limits, if you will. We are taking in too much information at an accelerated rate. And it would be one thing if we were taking in the right information. Unfortunately, with the smart televisions and the smartphones and the smart devices and the gadgetry, we are hooked into an engagement where we're siphoning in incorrect information. We're choosing to watch nonsense television. We're choosing to listen to garbage music. We're choosing to entertain ourselves to death with reality television and all the other nonsense. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't a time and a place for this kind of stuff, folks, because we've got to enjoy life. There's certain things that we should, we've got to relax. But you guys, relaxation, true relaxation, is not found through a television screen. True relaxation comes from learning to use your mind to control or regulate the tension in your body, and that's why we have the full body relaxation exercise here on this channel. That's why we talk about it so often. So there's so much shit that's destroying us, and there's so much in my mind right now that I wish that I had the ability to take like an hour's worth of speech and condense it into like 1 minute, because there's so much I'd like to talk about and there's so much I'd like to tell you guys. This is just monumental, what's going on here in this dimension. But again, you guys, there's like this inversion going on. It's like we're literally in the upside down realm. And the interesting thing about the whole upside down realm thing, which I think is like, It was made popular by that Netflix show Stranger Things, but the whole idea of the upside down is much older than Stranger Things. A lot of people don't know that. But what's interesting about the whole upside down world thing is that the Kundalini in my early 20s told me that this was the underworld. Now, the experience was incredibly vivid, the Kundalini awakening, and I've gone over it in the past, and I'm not going to elaborate upon it in this video, you guys, but let's just say that this world is not what it seems to be. That's all I'm going to say. And the stuff going on in this world, this is an illusionary realm, folks, where you've been lied to for so long that you've learned to not only enjoy it, but believe it. You have something known as Stockholm Syndrome, and Stockholm Syndrome, in layman's terms, is when a victim of an abuser starts to actually, like, respect and want to please the abuser. So, you know, we've all had our assemblage points shifted into non-salubrious positions. And some of you want to be fucking, you know, conscious people. You're not even aware of that. And the people who have had shifting have integrated a shift of the assemblage point and even a movement. We see right through you. But, I mean, everybody just wants to think that they've got it all figured out. This, that, and the other. They're so smart. And, you know, it may sound contradictory because I'm talking the way I do on this channel. But this channel, one of the foundations of what I try to teach, ladies and gentlemen, is that belief is dangerous, and that we've all been lied to, and that we all need to come together and try to figure out what's going on here. I'm not necessarily saying that my way of interpreting reality is the only way, is the right way. I will, however, say that the foundation of what I teach is that we've been hypnotized, put to sleep to a large extent. What I mean by that is our consciousness has been put into a state where it only uses a small fraction of its power. We have had our energy fields manipulated to the point where now we only assemble small amounts of information from the world around us, and we interpret a very small range of the whole electromagnetic spectrum. What I teach is that we are in a limited state. It's not that I'm right or that I'm, you know, this, that, and the other. To some extent, I know that certain things that I preach about are correct because they've withstood the test of time. But again, you guys, we've got to get out of this mentality that we have all the answers, because it's when we go into that state of consciousness that we harbor no room for growth. Because how could you grow if you think you've got it all figured out? There are so many mysteries here. The mysteries of the earth, the mystery of human consciousness. This life is a massive fucking mystery, folks. But where the hell was I going with that? Again, this idea of it's going to let this person go, but they don't want to go. This idea that money is the root of all evil. Please, enough. Enough is enough. I'm so sick of people blaming collective bad human behavior on things like money or this, that, and the other. You are a human being. You know deep down the difference between right and wrong. Start acting like a fucking intelligent adult. What the fuck? Like, here in 2021 especially, like, everybody just wants to have an excuse for all the debauchery, and like they're trying to make it culturally acceptable to be like obese and to, like, all your flaws are beautiful and all this other shit. And let me tell you, some flaws are beautiful, but to promote obesity, to promote this illogical logic that's basically the sum total of like 2 + 2 = 20, you can't teach that. Like, we're not going in the right direction, folks. And you may think it's all about love and all this other nonsense because, oh, everybody needs to be accepted for who they are. That's not okay, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you should accept people for who they are, but you shouldn't encourage people to stay in a position where they're unhealthy or miserable. Like, a lot of these adults and these experts that are promoting this shit, they're not experts. And you're not an expert simply predicated upon the fact that, look at what you're teaching people. Look at what you're inspiring. You people want to inspire, like, aberrated thinking? and logic that has no logic. Like, what is going on here, folks? And there's a handful of methodologies that have led to this point, and 2021 is like the tipping point of the cup, folks. Again, like I said earlier, what used to take 5 years now takes a day. With all these technologies and all the garbage and all the nonsense and all of this just insanity going on in this world right now, we are experiencing an acceleration, a quickening of evil. So, again, back in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, I used to think, okay, well, humanity, we still have a chance. But now that we're here in 2021, the cup is literally tipping over, folks. And all you can do at this point is literally be at least in my opinion, all you can do is be an example of what you don't want to be, or what you don't want the world to become. I actively, on a daily basis, am pushing myself outside of the cultural mass inertia of this insane, disgusting fucking Matrix kingdom, whatever you want to call it, this dead kingdom, this culture of death. It's just insane. I literally, you guys, I cannot imagine what it would be like to grow up again, to be in my, like, even in middle school with an iPhone or one of these Android devices. I mean, it was bad enough when the original cell phone came out. I remember when the original cell phone came out, it was like the Nokia, I think it was, with the game Snake on it. Which, just FYI, that game continues to be the greatest game of all cell phone games ever. I don't care that you can get all these new games and shooter games on these new phones. It's too much, you guys. It's too much. The fact that the graphics on a phone are better than the graphics on a PlayStation, like, what the fuck? This is just insane, and we all carry these in our pocket. But, it's not spying on you. It's not spying on you. It's tracking you in real time. It knows your location through the map system and all this other shit. It literally responds to you when you tell it to wake up or this, that, and the other. But it's not spying on you. Don't worry. It can triangulate a position on you 24/7 if it wanted to, but it's not spying on you. I mean, compare the technology of an iPhone to the original Game Boy or the original Nokia fucking cell phone, folks, and you tell me that this isn't a problem, considering especially the fact that these phones are only going to evolve more and more and more. It would be one thing if the phones that we're using now weren't going to get technological upgrades, but they're going to continue to become more advanced and more advanced and more advanced. And you watch what happens 20 years from now. If you can't smell the imminent threat of technology, if your metaphysical antennas cannot grasp the threat like a fucking shark smelling blood from a mile away, then you are not using your brain. But again, I can't imagine growing up with an iPhone. And again, I remember the original Nokia cell phone. I think it was a Nokia. Forgive me if it isn't. There was one model that came out, and then they started customizing the faceplates on them, where you could get them in any color. They were the biggest thing for a year. I remember my mom had one of those. It was like a bluish purple color. And I remember I didn't have one at the time, but I just got sucked into that game and just playing with her fucking cell phone. And I remember shortly thereafter, in I think middle school, in 7th or 8th grade, my parents bought me a Motorola prepaid phone with a $25 card on it to use only in emergencies. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can see the benefit of a cell phone. It's nice to be able to call your loved ones and whatnot. I'm not completely against these technologies, but I remember using that $25 gift card up in a day. Or not a gift card, the prepaid cards. Texting girls, just boom, gone. And the allure of being able to text people without facial recognition between two parties, that's real dangerous too, folks. And I remember liking it. It's like, okay, I can talk to these people without seeing them. There's no, butterflies in my stomach or anxiety or this, that, and the other. And I know that sounds stupid, but you tell me how many people haven't been fucking sucked into that. Try to tell me that people don't enjoy talking to people, especially of opposite sexes, without fucking having to see them in person. People love doing that. You don't have to confront people, and you can get to know someone before you actually meet them. The problem with this is that it's ruined people because it's made people anxious. People enjoy hiding behind a screen more than actually talking in real life, and I understand it completely. You see, contrary to what most people think, I'm not a huge fan of humans, and I can understand the desire to just be able to talk to people without having to fucking see them, if that makes sense. And I know that may sound rude and whatnot, but I'm not the type of person like most people. I really don't like people all that much. I like to try to help people. That's why this channel exists. But I'm not out here fucking trying to meet new people and talk to people about all the mundane bullshit. Trust me. I've separated myself from that energetic human configuration years ago. For some weird reason, people seem to think that spirituality, or walking the razor's edge, as Samael Onwayar called it, is all about humanity and just loving everyone. Part of loving everyone, ladies and gentlemen, is separating yourself from the mass inertia, the mass configuration of the herd. You will not know what I mean by that until you experience Kundalini, until you're unplugged fully by way of the apple of Eden being bitten, the pineal gland being bitten by the twin serpents. You will not know what I'm talking about. It's just like the movie The Matrix. When Neo wakes up, he doesn't go back into the Matrix and hang out with people. No, he's now on a mission. He's fulfilling the magnum opus. He's pursuing the Philosopher's Stone, folks. That whole movie is about Kundalini. Get a grip. That whole movie, ladies and gentlemen, is about Kundalini. I don't know how many times I have to say that before people get it. And I think the hardest part for people to grasp about the Matrix films is that you won't get it until you liberate the energy in your Cossacks, the Kundalini, and bring it up to your brow. It's just, what the fuck? But, so yeah, you guys, I mean, I think I was like in 7th or 8th grade again when I had that cell phone, and it's like, I was addicted back then to texting girls. When I had that cheap little Motorola, it wasn't even a flip phone, it was like the Nokia. At one point there wasn't flip phones, I think, at least. They were just like a faceplate, pretty much, with like an antenna that you'd have to pull out. But even on that fucking thing, it's like, ooh, who do I get to talk to today? Or what plans am I going to make? Or this, that, and the other. It's just... But now, you guys, you can send pictures to people, you can send videos, you can send texts, you can send audio clips, you can send GIFs, you can send money to people, you can send addresses and have the address be pinpointed by their phone, and you can have your phones align. You can play video games known as AR games, augmented reality. Like, I'm not going to name any names, but, the one where you throw the ball and you got to catch the monster. I mean, it like interacts with your reality. This shit's all real fucking weird, you guys, at least in my opinion. All these people playing video games, not even realizing that this is the greatest game of all time, life. Like, what are you trying to do in life to... Like, why don't you want to look at life like the games that you play? Like, why aren't you taking health potions? Why aren't you taking mana potions? Why aren't you shifting your assemblage point and accessing more of your consciousness? I mean, if that's the game. I mean, if upgrading your character is synonymous in video games with taking health potions and working on your character and increasing your strength and accessing more of your powers, you can do all that shit in real life. You can do all that shit in real life, but all you fucking people that are playing video games, you're just like, I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not going to get into it. And don't get me wrong, again, I'm not against gaming completely. There's a time and a place for everything. There's times where I'll play for short periods of time, The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, or Vampire the Masquerade's Bloodlines, or what is that other one? I used to really like World of Warcraft Classic. What was that other one? Oh, damn. It's on the tip of my tongue right now, folks. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. That game was fucking cool. I recently tried playing a little bit of it, though, as a grown man, and it's pretty stupid, I'm not gonna lie. But at the time, in high school, shit was awesome. But again, I want to drive that home, that I'm not the type of person that's completely against these games and whatnot, or just like watching TV from time to time. But that shouldn't be the focus of your life, and that's the problem. These people become so obsessed with games, people become so obsessed with movies and watching this crap, that it's just like, before you know it, you're like 50 or 60 years old, and you haven't really ever experienced the liberation of the assemblage point. You haven't experienced more of the electromagnetic spectrum. To me, that's like enough. That would be enough to make me weep. That would be enough to like drive me to insanity, to have grown up as an individual here in this matrix and experience the same consciousness day in and day out, to never try to experience gnosis or heaven consciousness, to never try to pierce the veil of illusions that have been pulled in front of your fucking metaphysical eyes. This is insane. That's the true insanity, folks. That's the true madness. That's the true sickness. And how people can't see this, it's insane. It's insane. This is like a fucking drug hallucination. This entire reality, the way it's been constructed, the way people behave, yada, yada, yada. So, so we've gone over various protocols on this channel on ways to begin shifting the assemblage point. We've talked about sorcery and entering into non-ordinary states of reality. We've talked about the importance, ladies and gentlemen, of the full body relaxation exercise, the thoughtlessness exercise, doing the inner temple work, establishing a link between you and your more intimate parts of your mind, your subconscious. We've gone over all this stuff. We've gone over physical protocols for health, supplemental protocols, light protocols, grounding protocols, sleep regimens. We've gone over the inner work and how the inner work is truly the most important part, folks. It's the foundation. So from time to time, people will say, oh, you never talk about solutions. You're only problem oriented. Well, you must not listen to my channel, because we go over solutions constantly. You have got to go over the problems in order to make the problems lucid. And what I mean by that is, you're never going to be able to fix a problem unless you know the problem. Am I wrong? It's kind of like if you have a leak beneath your sink. Unless you know there's a leak there, you don't know that there's damage being done to the wood around your sink. You know, when you have a leak and there's water dripping everywhere, you start to invite mold in, bacteria. You start to potentially rot the wood around the leak. So don't try to tell me that noticing or acknowledging the problems is not part of the solution, because it is the solution, folks. You cannot solve a problem until you know what the problem is. You cannot give a solution to something until you've fucking figured out the riddle of the problem. I mean, kind of like if you've been poisoned by something. You go to the poison control, they're probably not going to know how to help you unless they know what you've been poisoned with. I mean, translate that over to problem and solution. Problem reaction solution, excuse me. I mean, imagine going into the ER after you've taken a bunch of pills or something, and just going in and telling them, I don't know what's going on with me. I think I might die, though. It's like, well, no, you tell the fucking people, I took a bunch of pills. This is the type of pills. They go, okay, that's the problem. Let us come up with a reaction so that you can have the solution. A lot of you guys don't translate things. You don't look at things symbolically like that. You just want to buy into this whole spiritual mentality of everything's love and light and everything happens for a reason. And you would literally inject positivity into the most disgusting bullshit. just to feel a little bit better about your fleeting time here in hell. Disgusting. And I don't have a good goddamn problem if you have an issue with the way that I talk. I think it's disgusting. I think it's vile. I think it's fucking nauseating that so many people will try to come up with these strange mental aberrations to justify these strange illogical belief systems, to justify the wrong in the world, just to selfishly feel a little bit better about this fucking realm that you're all trapped in. My God, we have got to acknowledge the problems so that we can create the proper reaction that suits the proper solution. Does that not make sense? You're never going to liberate your assemblage point and shift it if you don't suspect that your perception is locked in a perceptual prison. We're supposed to have perceptual fluidity. Most of you guys who watch my channel know that there's something wrong in the world. And aside from knowing that there's something wrong in the world, most of you watching my channel fundamentally sense on an intuitive level that there's something wrong with your thinking processes, that you're not accessing the full scope of your mental, cognitive, spiritual, and emotional faculties. Come on, be honest with yourself. Only through honesty, radical self-honesty, do we grow. Again, only through radical self-honesty do we grow, folks. This is all stuff that you know deep down already. Some of these channels, I just vocalize stuff that you're already feeling, or stuff that you're feeling but you don't know how to articulate quite yet into words. I try to take very deep subjects and carve them into very easily to digest bits of information that can be consumed by you, digested, and integrated. So, I mean, guys, our perception's been put into a perceptual prison. Right now, I'm driving through... Have you ever been on a road and there's like a trees on every side of the road and they're mature enough to the point where they grow up and they touch each other, so you're like driving through a cave of trees? That's one of my favorite things to drive through, as silly as that sounds. Caves of trees, where the roads are covered by trees, and the trees on both sides of the road grow tall enough so that it creates a canopy or a covering of sorts, and it's all shaded through this road right now. In a state of perceptual fluidity or freedom, the assemblage point can be reassembled into the proper position where you can now not only witness these trees, ladies and gentlemen, but you can see the energy fields around these trees. And I brought up the whole cave of trees things. I brought up the whole cave of trees things. Excuse me. I can't fucking speak today because I just so happened to be driving through that area at the time. But the trees are a perfect example of perceptual fluidity or lack thereof. Trees are a perfect example, folks, because when an average individual looks at a tree, all he or she sees are the basic units or the basic physical counterparts. However, there are subtle counterparts that exist outside of your consciousness's ability to interact with the full spectrum of the electromagnetic spectrum. You see, when the assemblage point shifts, depending on where it shifts, you can access with your eyes and your senses more of the electromagnetic spectrum, which allows you to see the subtle organizing energy fields of all living creatures, including trees. But here's the thing that's really interesting, folks. For the average person to witness a tree in all of its glory, and what I mean by that is that if you had your Kundalini awakened and you had the assemblage point in the proper position that God intended it for it to be, you would be able to take in vast amounts of information from the electromagnetic spectrum, and looking at a tree would drive you insane. Looking at a tree would drive you bloody insane. What are you talking about, Sacred Serpent? That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. What are you talking about? Looking at a tree make me insane. I look at trees all the time. No, you look at trees. You're right. You don't see the tree. Much like Don Juan Matus teaches Carlos Castaneda throughout his books. Don Juan was the Yaqui Indian sorcerer, the brujo, if you will, that taught Carlos the art of sorcery. the art of shifting the assemblage point, which is the art of sorcery. Don Juan goes on to teach Carlos that there's a vast difference between looking at something and seeing something. And the degree of ability for an individual to see or not is a great indicator of their wisdom. Their degree of wisdom or lack thereof, folks. You see, you can look at a fucking tree all day. That doesn't mean you see it. It's kind of like when you're looking at an optical illusion. It's presented in one angle, or it's what you're seeing looks a certain way, but in fact, there's much more to the picture than meets the eye. You see, glimpsing subtle organizing energy fields to the average programmed mind would drive the individual insane. You're not ready to actually live. When you're alive, ladies and gentlemen, when you have that Kundalini energy moving through you, when it moves the assemblage point, not just shift it, because there's a huge difference between a shift of the assemblage point and a movement, but when you move that assemblage point, which is what Kundalini does, folks, you are now seeing a life in all its glory. You are seeing every single energy field around everything, including yourself. This is enough to drive a person beyond insane. And that's why Kundalini, ladies and gentlemen, is so synonymous with insanity. It's because your senses have been conditioned to interpret 1% of the 100% whole. When you start taking in even 20% of the whole, it destroys all of your belief systems about reality. Because you thought up until this point, before the assemblage point moved or shifted, that, 1%. You literally have been living 1% of the potential 100%. And you've learned to think that 1% is the entire whole. Because no one ever told you at a young age that there's more to life than what meets the eye. But of course there is, folks. That's the foundation of all Gnostic thought. All Gnostic thought or teachings say that there's much more than meets the eye, and that your consciousness has been imprisoned, and that there's a spark within you, known as the divine spark. That's literally a Gnostic teaching, not agnostic. Gnostic, Gnostic. One of the foundations of Gnostic thought is that your consciousness in your body has been put into a prison by way of the demiurge's actions, as well as your cultural upbringing. And that you have the ability to awaken the divine spark within, which will bring you back into the realm of lights, which will merge you with the monad and allow you to access fragments of the pleroma, the realm of lights within the physical realm here in hell. What do you think that divine spark is, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Kundalini. What does sparks do? Sparks have the potential to ignite flames. Flames have the ability to create fires, kind of like that Tool song, Intention. Spark becomes a flame, flame becomes a fire. We have the divine fire of God, the fire that Prometheus stole from God, the gods, to give to humanity. That's the Kundalini energy, ladies and gentlemen, the rising phoenix, the twin serpents, the staff or rod of Asclepius, the rod or staff of Mercury, the thyrsus or thyrsus as some people call it, the Velspar, that's your spine. The Kundalini energy moves up your spine through three particular main channels, known as the Ida, the Pingala, and the Sushumna. The spark can create the flame that creates a fire as it moves up the spine. Only when Kundalini is awakened can you see the truth of reality. It's that simple. And most of you people saying that you've experienced Kundalini, you're full of shit. Telling people that, I think I experienced Kundalini, man. I think I did. I think that's what it was. You don't think you know. You know. The divine energy moving through you lets you know what's going on. This is something that makes you see things beyond your wildest dreams, that will make you weep. Kundalini moves the assemblage point to such an extent that you would interact with such a large range on the electromagnetic spectrum that you can see literally the filaments and fibers and the energetic components that literally hold physical matter together like a scaffolding. So, I think I had a Kundalini awakening, bro. I felt some energy in my spine. That's not a Kundalini awakening. Kundalini awakening is when it moves up into your head and you become surrounded by the seraphim. You become surrounded, ladies and gentlemen, by the chariot, the Merkabah. You'll be able to see your aura, which is not just this ball around you, folks. Like all these con artists, charlatan metaphysicians who act like they know what they're talking about. You know, they try to say, the whole thing's, everybody's lying. Excuse me. Everybody's fucking lying to make money. In the spiritual community is one of the greatest places to witness these lies. It's disgusting. People acting like they know things that they have no experience with. It drives me up the fucking wall. Man. But again, to get back on track, money is the root of all evil. Please. What you do with money shows a person your intention. Intentions that are negative are the root of all evil. Stupidity is the root of all evil. In the same way that you can kill something with a hammer or build a house with that hammer and do great things, you can do great things or horrible things with money, folks. It's that simple. Try to tell me money is the root of all evil. Get a grip. You better change your perception of money if you want to live here in the Matrix and do something creative with your time here to try to push people in the right direction and try to push the envelope of spiritual evolution. You better learn to change your interpretation of money. Money is the root of all evil. It's no wonder you have problems with it. And if money goes, if the dollar goes, another form of currency will be erected. Like cryptocurrency or, you know, all these other digital forms of currency. And I still don't really know how all that stuff works, but I know enough about it to know that it's... I'm not going to make this a rant about cryptocurrency, excuse me. But let's just branch away from all these subjects, folks, by saying that technology is a double-edged sword. In the same way that you can use technology, in the same way that money can be used in the same way, that money can be used for good and bad things, so can these cell phones, so can these pieces of technology. However, it becomes a little bit more difficult to do good things. You can do a lot more good things with money than you can a TV. Like, it blows my mind that people will say money is the root of all evil, but they watch TV. How can you sit there and watch TV and tell me that money is the root of all evil when it was money that you used to buy that fucking TV? And on top of that, at least with money, I can, like, instead of buying a TV, I could buy a fucking kayak. I could literally buy a kayak and buy a camera and buy, you know, some healthy food, and I can go out on the water and, you know, get closer to the elemental kingdom of water and nature, and I can make some videos. And then I can get on the computer and go onto YouTube and upload those videos and try to reach people. Like, don't try to tell me that money is the root of all evil when you bought a bunch of shit with that money that you love using. Like, grow the fuck up. You look stupid. You look fucking dumb. Logical inconsistencies like that blow my mind and drive me up a fucking wall. You're going to sit there and tell me again that money's evil, but you like spending it. Money's evil, but you sure enjoy that car that you bought with that money. So again, I want to drive this home. Stupidity is the root of all evil. Doing the wrong thing when you could do the right thing, that's the root of all evil. I like to think we live in a world where we can do the right thing, even though we have access to the wrong thing. So, and I don't want to sound contradictory by me publicly stating that I dislike cell phones. You know, I don't dislike cell phones per se. What I dislike is, ladies and gentlemen, the teaching of the youth to be okay with doing the wrong thing And I know that may sound unrelated to what I was talking about, but here's what I mean by this. We should be trying to inspire the youth to learn the proper foundations of how to use... we should be teaching the youth the foundations of mental mastery. If we taught the youth the foundation of mental mastery instead of all this other garbage at school, children would be able to use cell phones and not be sucked into them. Children would be able to be in this evil world, but not of it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Because nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing with education. Education teaches you to be a useful idiot. I don't care how many degrees and PhDs and whatever the fuck you have. That does not mean you have wisdom. It means that you've accumulated enough knowledge to be a master of a particular, path in life. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have wisdom. And I'm not calling people with degrees stupid. What I am saying is that you could have all the degrees in the world and still not even have a clue that you're in a perceptual prison. You see what I mean? What's more important to me or to you? Knowing the truth of the reality that you live in, or just going through the motions, or not necessarily going through the motions, or just working hard to get a degree in something while you live in prison? I'd rather know that I was in prison before I just tried to become a master of living in the prison. Does that make sense? What would be more important is to master the escape of this prison. And once you have done that, then you pursue life, ladies and gentlemen. It's hard to pursue life when you've been raised in a culture of death and you're not even aware of it. I hope that makes sense. But again, if we taught children at a young age the foundations of mental mastery, the foundations of breath work, and, all of the greater things in life that we don't learn at a young age, children would be able to grow up and not use money for the wrong things or to get sucked into problems, because they would know they wouldn't be stupid. Again, stupidity is the foundation of all evil. Doing the wrong thing when you have the ability to do the right thing. The problem is so many of us have been we've been grown or raised in this culture for so long where the wrong option is justified by the powers that be, that you just learn to fire on the wrong synapses. You learn to fire or just choose the wrong choice, and it becomes a part of you. I hope that makes sense. But anyways, you guys, let's just dovetail out of that and let's talk a little bit about the fact that there's a ton of protocols on this channel that you can utilize to start getting healthier. I think one of the reasons why people stay locked in a perceptual prison is because they're unhealthy. Their bodies are fucking unhealthy. People's immune systems are run down. Here's the thing. You've got to choose a path and stick to it for a while. I know a lot of people, myself included at one point, who would cycle all these different supplements constantly. I'm going to try this week, and I didn't get the magical effect that I wanted from it, so I'm going to try this supplement, this, that, and the other. You guys, you just got to stick to a path. It takes months to experience the benefit of a lot of these protocols. You should start to be able to feel it within a few days, a few days to a week, if you're doing the right thing. And we'll talk about that in a second. But you guys, long story short, a lot of you guys are still, you're still eating a lot of fucking garbage. You're on what I call the cardboard diet. And the cardboard diet is just eating these food. You're in this this circus, just eating all this crap. In the Matrix, the food is like circus food. When you go to a circus, what is the food's not good for you, folks. That's what I mean. It's it has the nutritional equivalence to cardboard. You don't want to be eating this garbage. If you want to get healthy, you have got to learn to unplug from culture. You've got to learn to say no to the status quo and kind of harbor a Luciferian spirit to some extent. And I don't mean Luciferian like become a Lucifer character. I mean rebel against the system. Somebody recently left my Patreon page, and you know who you are if you're watching this. And your exit survey upon leaving my Patreon page was, I don't want to be a Luciferian. No, who the fuck asked you to be a Luciferian? Oh, that's right, nobody. I'm not over here telling people to become a Luciferian or a Satanist. Like, it just blows my mind that people, like, where did you even get that idea? Because I said that Kundalini is a Luciferian energy? Like, what part of my message, in what part of my message is there like some waiver that you have to sign that says, in order to watch the Sacred Serpent channel, I must be a Luciferian? What the hell is going on? What I mean is that you kind of have to harbor a Luciferian energy, which is just a symbolic, kind of poetic way to describe being rebellious. You're not going to be able to manipulate your assemblage point and change your energetic configuration by conforming to the mass energetic configuration, the mass inertia of culture. You have got to step outside of the box. Otherwise, you'll still be in the box. Does that not make sense? But a lot of you guys... Excuse me, let me take a sip of water. A lot of you guys want to... You want to live two lives. You want to separate yourself from the insanity and regain perceptual fluidity, but on the other hand, you still love the Matrix, even though you don't consciously know that. Unconsciously, you love the Matrix. And that's why you still eat all the garbage. That's why you can't stay committed to a certain a health regimen. That's why you before you even try to get off of gluten, you tell yourself you can't do it. Gluten is a matrix food, folks. Gluten is a matrix food. If there's one food that's more of a matrix food than anything else, it would be two foods. Vegetable oils, folks, and fucking gluten. And the vegetable oils, you know, people seem to think that vegetable oil is like, oh, coconut oil or, you know, avocado oil. They just took some avocado seeds or some skins and whatnot and squeezed it and the oil came out. No. There's like 9 or more processing stages that vegetable oils go through before they get into the bottle that you buy from Costco or wherever you buy it. They deodorize it before you get it. They bleach it often. They heat it up and add hexanes and solvents. You're not just getting some magical oil from Hawaii or whatever the fucking label tries to tell you. Vegetable oils and gluten are the two most important things to get off of on my health system. And I have a 3.5-hour diet course on my website, www.sacredhealingtools.com. It's available for purchase and instant download 24 hours a day, 365. It will not ever be given away for free. A lot of work went into that diet course. You want to learn to eat like me? You want to learn what I eat and how I eat? Buy the 3.5-hour course. I don't need to hear anybody bitch about the cost either. It's $20. Got no problem buying a fucking $30 t-shirt. But a 3.5-hour diet course, which is condensed wisdom from years of my trial and error. That's a problem? Yeah, okay. People are just out of control. Wanting everything for free, this, that, and the other. But again, a lot of people want things that they're not willing to put the effort into to obtain. So, gluten is a family of proteins that are incredibly hard to digest. And the problem is that the genetically engineered hybridized wheat and all the other gluten that people eat, these proteins, the stomach acid has a very difficult time breaking apart these proteins and breaking apart the chemical bonds that hold the amino acids together on the protein structures. So by the time the food goes into the small intestine after it's gone through the stomach, the gluten proteins haven't been broken apart sufficiently. And because of that, they can't be absorbed by the villi, the absorptive tissues, the microvilli and the villi in your small intestine. They tumble through your intestines and destroy your villi, which are your absorptive tissues, your colonies, ladies and gentlemen, of finger-like protrusions that line your intestines, that are their sole responsibility is to absorb food. And you wonder why gluten is bad for you? Gluten destroys your body's ability to digest food, folks. That's why gluten is so genius to the evil forces in this world. That's why on the food pyramid, which is a mind control food pyramid, but that's why on the food pyramid, on the bottom, the foods that you're supposed to be eating the most of, the foods that the government wants you to eat the most of, ladies and gentlemen, are gluten-containing foods. And do you know a large majority of the population has gluten sensitivities? And sure, you might not have noticeable gluten sensitivities. You might not have celiac disease, or you might not bust out into rashes from eating gluten. But you know what? That anxiety issue that you don't know where it's coming from, or the malaise and the fatigue and the anhedonia and all the other shit, that very well could be from gluten, and you're never going to know it until you get off of gluten. But you know what? A subscriber recently made a genius comment, and we've gone over this subject in prior videos. We have got to, and this is what the subscriber said, and I think it was Meow who said it. So if Meow, you're watching this video, thank you for the contribution. But this subscriber said that we have to be careful of trace amounts of gluten because they're slipping this shit into everything. Now, that's 100% true, and I would highly suggest picking up a copy of Dr. David Perlmutter's book, Grain Brain. Yes, he's a little mainstream, and some people have an issue with him, but there are some great charts in that book, Grain Brain, by Dr. David Perlmutter, folks. He goes in to show. Excuse me, I was checking my email. He shows charts that it literally tells you, okay, what food additives have gluten in them, because one of the ways that they're slipping gluten into your foods, ladies and gentlemen, even foods that are pure gluten-free, is through food additives that don't come out and publicly say, oh, this contains gluten. So there's a lot of people who go on a gluten-free diet and to say, oh, I didn't experience any benefit, poor me. Well, upon further inspection, you were eating fucking foods that had gluten in them and you just didn't know it. Gluten is one of those things that requires you to do a lot of research. You have got to create a strong foundation of what to eat and then live on those foods. So a lot of people have a problem with rice, like white rice. That's a staple of mine. That is a gluten-free food that is such, like, I eat rice constantly. I eat a lot of chicken. I eat a lot of rice. I eat a lot of raw steak. I eat raw eggs, cooked eggs. I eat a lot of vegetables. I eat a ton of high ORAC foods, juices, sprouts especially. I specifically supplement certain things. I take certain nootropic compounds. I do a lot of inner work. I ground myself. I practice magic. And I sure as fuck all practice sorcery. And I'm not going to talk about sorcery in this video. Or I'm really not going to ever probably talk about how to practice sorcery because it's dangerous. It can certainly drive people into states of insanity. If you want to... Well, what I do suggest doing, though, is that if you're interested in learning more about sorcery, familiarize yourself with Carlos Castaneda's books. They're not perfect, in my opinion, but they're a good start. The Teachings of Don Juan, that's where you start. Audiobook, go on described.com. Get a free 1-month trial. Listen to all the fucking audiobooks. I mean, this channel offers grassroots approaches to fucking the biggest problems in the world. I just gave you .com where you can get a free fucking 30-day trial where you can listen to all of Castaneda's audiobooks for free. and then cancel the subscription or the trial before the 30 days, and you won't be charged the $9.99 for the 1 month, audiobook or a book. It's not just audiobooks on Scribd. It's it's everything. It's a damn cheap ass fucking price to pay for what you get. And I don't get any money from Scribd. I don't get an affiliate link or anything. I just tell you what I do in case you're interested in doing similar things. But again, you guys, so we've gone over in prior videos the kind of like antidote, or the if you want to call it that, to gluten. First and foremost, it's getting off of it, and it's also getting off the vegetable oils. Start using ghee, start using butter, start using animal fats. And if you are going to use a vegetable oil, if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, use palm oil, sustainably harvested palm oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil, refined coconut oil, or unrefined. I prefer refined, but I don't consume those. I use butter, I use lard, and I use ghee. That's it. A few times a year on a birthday or a special like a holiday, I'll have some oil and some gluten. But, once you stay away from these foods long enough and you reintroduce them, when you've been off gluten and oil for 6 months and you reintroduce that stuff, it gets you high like a drug. It fucks you up. You have a huge crash. So, as you're getting off of the oil and the gluten, folks, here's the thing. You want to increase your vitamin C intake. Vitamin C is something that I take daily, and I have for years. There's been a few days where I've missed. Some week-long periods where I've missed dosages as well. Vitamin E intake goes up, needs go up when you get off of vegetable oils, especially just in general. People should be taking vitamin E. And there's a very specific person on Instagram and on YouTube who thinks he's like the vitamin E guru of the world. Somebody recently said, and I'm not going to name his name because this person had a little hissy fit and blocked me on Instagram because I did a review of one of his old brands products, like just childish as fuck, and I don't care. I'm going to say it, but I'm not going to mention any names because I'm just not going to do that. But this person thinks he's like the ambassador of vitamin E. I've talked about vitamin E throughout the years, and someone recently in a recent video said, you're talking about vitamin E, you must have gotten this information from such and such. No, motherfucker. I'm sick of people thinking that people can own the rights to a vitamin. You know who I got the information on vitamin E from? Linus fucking Pauling. And that's who I got the vitamin C information from as well. Vitamin B3, which this person is now selling in the form of niacinamide for a very overpriced price. First of all, I've been talking about niacin for years. Maybe this individual got the information for me. You ever think of that? I'm just tired of people fucking acting like they're like I own this vitamin. No, motherfucker. Linus Pauling and Andrew Saul and Dr. Abram Hoffer is who I got the information on vitamin E, vitamin C, selenium, etc. In vitamin B3, and I'm not a fan of niacinamide. Let me tell you, in certain situations, niacinamide is great. But if you're going to take niacin, vitamin B3, you want the flushing form. Vitamin B3 and Dr. Abram Hoffer, proved this years ago. Vitamin B3, the best form is the flushing form of vitamin B3. The best form of vitamin B3 is the flushing form. So I'm not going to get into that in this video. We've talked about this extensively. Orthomolecular medicine, Dr. Abram Hoffer, who I became fascinated with in my late teens, in around 18 and a half maybe. That's who I got this information from. I have no problem giving credit where it's due, but I didn't get this information from this particular individual who sells vitamin E on Instagram, etc. Get a grip. But we take vitamin E because, ladies and gentlemen, it is one of the vitamin E and vitamin C are two of the greatest immune modulating vitamins. The problem with vitamin E is that there's so many different types on the market. So we'll talk about that in the near future. We've talked about it for a very long time now, but vitamin C is probably, I'm not going to lie, it's probably my favorite vitamin. I just find it fascinating. The research that Linus Pauling did on vitamin C is just groundbreaking, and I think that high-dose vitamin C therapy, to be honest, is one of the greatest things that we can do to recover from the damage done from vegetable oils, gluten, etc. You know, selenium's a very other important mineral as well. Selenium is crucial. But, you know, personally, I don't take selenium every day. I have a structured day or two every week where I'll take a specific amount of selenium in the form of selenomethionine. There's a few other forms of selenium, and you know who has a really good selenium product is Longevity. Dr. Joel Wallach has a really awesome, it's a selenium complex, if you will. That's probably the best one on the market. It's a little expensive, but it's probably the greatest selenium product on the market for sure. But so vitamin C intake the requirement for vitamin C intake is crucial for everyone, whether you're getting off of gluten or oil, etc. But here's the thing, you guys, if you're going to be taking vitamins, if you're going to be taking nutrients, minerals, and you're intaking vegetable oils and gluten, you're not going to get very far with those, because again, the gluten is destroying your body's ability to absorb nutrients, and you're literally just going to be making up for the damage done from the intake of oils and gluten with these vitamins. It's just like constantly throwing. It's synonymous with having a fire in your home that you keep throwing wood on, but you throw water on as well. Like, stop throwing the wood on the fire, stop feeding the fire, choke it of its oxygen, and then put the water on it. You'll notice the benefits of supplemental vitamin C on your skin, on your mind, on your confidence. But you're really only going to experience these benefits, ladies and gentlemen, if you stop throwing the wood on the fire. You've got to get rid of the burnt meat that you're eating. You've got to get rid of the artificial sweeteners, the table sugar. You've got to get rid of... table sugar in small amounts is not necessarily a bad thing, folks. And I explained this in my course. So let's just start wrapping this one up. What I'm trying to convey here is that supplements do best when you're using them to recover from the damage done by living in this culture. And everybody is severely damaged. If you don't remove the causes of damage, yet you still supplement, it's just going to act as a moderate buffer between the damage that you're continuing to do. So what makes a lot more sense is to remove, ladies and gentlemen, the cause of the problem while simultaneously supplementing. And I explain this heavily in my diet course. The requirement of antioxidants has gone through the roof in the past 50 years for human beings because of all of the oxidative damage and stress that we're constantly doing to our systems. So what I suggest people do, one of them at least, one of the suggestions, is to consider, and I'm not recommending that you do this, even though I just said I suggest, a little disclaimer here, I'm just telling you what I do. Supplemental vitamin C. You can take whole foods vitamin C as well, I do, but supplemental vitamin C has so many benefits, and I'm not going to get into it in this video. The intake of supplemental vitamin C in tandem with cycling specific, very potent antioxidants. Things like pterosylbine, things like resveratrol complexes, things like quercetin with bromelain, reducing the inflammatory load. There's so many other antioxidants. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but antioxidants ladies and gentlemen, really need to be the foundation or one of the foundational pillars of your diet, in tandem with removing the cause of the problems, plural. We don't just have a problem, we have problems. And the biggest threat to human physical health, at least, is the consumption of the wrong foods. I mean, how is this not mainstream understanding? That the biggest problem for people's physical health is the food, the air, and the water that people drink. And on top of that, it's the stress loads and the elevated cortisol and stress hormones that come from never doing the full body relaxation exercise. Yeah, your muscle memory is so programmed. You have layers and layers and layers of programming in your muscle memory that until you get rid of it through your exercises and your sorcery and your magic, ladies and gentlemen, that stuff's going to stay there forever. So that's another cause of the grinding effect, of the grinding wheel of the matrix on your health. The 4 horsemen as well that Frank Rudolph Young talks about throughout his books. You better learn to address those. You better start practicing proper yoga, and you better start opening the vertebral openings in your spine, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, things aren't going to look too good for you as you age. So, I'm not saying that this is a panacea. I am, however, saying that there is some serious validity in the things that I talk about. And people who begin to practice these practices, people, ladies and gentlemen, who begin to adopt the principles that we discuss, begin to experience these benefits and the merit of these protocols directly. It's that simple. So, some people ask me all the time, what type of vitamin C do you recommend? Well, what I suggest doing, folks, is let me just park the car and get Luna out of this vehicle. Got a piece of shungite here that I carry with me. I'm going to put it in my pocket. Let me just pause really quickly. All right, guys, and we're back. I think where we left off was talking about what type of vitamin C I use. And I use both supplemental vitamin C, which is synthetic vitamin C, ascorbic acid, and I also use whole foods vitamin C. So this is why I preach the importance of like hibiscus. Hibiscus is one of many natural components that contains whole foods vitamin C. And whole foods vitamin C differs from supplemental ascorbic acid vitamin C because it's got other nutrients bound to it. And you can kind of consider it a little bit more well-rounded than supplemental vitamin C, but it's nowhere near as strong. So I've seen people get a lot of quick results with supplemental vitamin C with heart issues and blood pressure problems. So I don't want to get into some expose, if you will, on the differences between whole foods vitamin C and supplemental. What I do is I just take both. So I'll take hibiscus, I'll make a really strong tea out of it. I'll take camu, Indian gooseberry, Kaduku plum, lemon juice, hibiscus, acerola cherry, and I'll make a mixture into a tea. I don't drink that every day, but there's also formulas, whole foods vitamin C formulas that you can buy online. But I usually, when I take whole foods vitamin C, you guys, I'm drinking it as a tea. And another thing that I do to get whole foods vitamin C is I consume just a massive amount of lemon and lemon juice and lime juice. And I really only like doing this. I'd say about 70% of the limes and the lemons that I consume, they come from homegrown lemons and limes. There is absolutely no comparison in quality when it comes to homegrown fruit in comparison to store-bought. Store-bought lemons and limes they're disgusting in comparison to homegrown. So here's the thing, you guys. Let me just make this little rant about lemons and limes really quick. Luna, get away from those foxtails. People say, oh, you talk about consuming lemon and lime only primarily from homegrown sources. Well, how can I do that year round? Because there's a season here, like lemons and limes aren't in season all year. What you do, you guys, is you take the juice out of the lemons and the limes, and you save the peels, and you dehydrate the peels. Once they're sufficiently dehydrated, you store them in a mason jar. You might even be able to put them in the freezer, but you store them for winter. You store them for the seasons where you don't have lemons and limes growing. And then what you do is you make that into a tea. And this is a very sufficient way to get the benefit of the whole lemon or lime. Lemon peel and lime peel have some incredible antioxidant qualities to them. They're just remarkable. So, and that's why I always will put them in the juicer. You guys, let me just hook Luna up. Like, if you're gonna juice a lemon, don't cut the peel off. You might want to cut it off if it's a store-bought lemon or a lime, because they're really waxy and gross tasting. But if you've got a homegrown lime, folks, take it, or a homegrown lemon or lime, take it and run it through the whole thing through the juicer. That's how you're going to get some incredible benefit from it. But lemon is a potent vitamin C source, and it's a remarkable, lemon and lime, they're both remarkable antioxidants, you guys. So, you can see the antioxidant effects in real time of lemon or lime by simply squirting some on cut up apple wedges. You'll notice that the apple wedges and the lime, or the apple wedges that have been squirted with lime or lemon, they don't brown anywhere near as quickly as the apple wedges that you don't squirt the juice on. This is the antioxidant effect of lemons and limes, and my theory is that a similar process takes place internally when we consume lemons and limes. So I'll drink lemon water constantly. So lemon water in tandem with supplemental vitamin C. I really think that you're going to notice some tremendous effects. The key is the dosage when it comes to supplemental vitamin C, and for that, I personally follow the Linus Pauling dosages, and he took, at a minimum, I think, between 3 and 6 grams, and all the way up to 18. So I'm not recommending that you do that. That's considered way, way, way overkill by this system standards. The system thinks that they want to tell you to eat just enough vitamin C to not get scurvy. What they tell you to eat in regards to like iodine and vitamin C is so abysmally low, it's disgusting. So it's getting windy out here, you guys. You probably can't even hear me right now. So let's just wrap this one up. Let's move over into a wind covered area. Now Foods has vitamin C crystals that are excellent. In fact, I have some coming today because I ran out. Vitamin C, supplemental vitamin C, is going to work much better for you in a powdered form. If you take it that's been pressed into capsules, the stuff doesn't break apart sufficiently in your stomach. It will not provide the laxative style colon cleansing effect, tablets won't, that the powder does. So we'll talk more about this in the near future. Supplemental vitamin C in tandem with whole foods vitamin C. This is crucial, you guys. Crucial, crucial, crucial in today's world. I'm going to wrap this one up. It's getting windy out here. Until next time, I love you all. May peace be with you.